Pause for a moment. Look around, my friends, let me ask you something. How many times have you given up just because it hurt too much? How many times have you walked away only to look back later and whisper to yourself, I wish I had just held on a little longer? You see, pain is a visitor. It knocks on your door, makes some noise, stays for a while and then leaves. But regret builds a home inside you. It never leaves. People often ask me, why should I keep trying when it hurts? And I say, because pain will pass, but regret, that stays. The truth is, every meaningful thing in life, growth, success, peace, love, is born out of discomfort. We grow not because life gets easier, but because we choose not to surrender when it gets harder. So today, my dear friends, let's talk about this: how to bear the temporary pain that shapes us, so we never have to live with the permanent regret that breaks us. Pain is the price of progress. You see, every time you want to rise to the next level in life, the universe asks you a question. Are you willing to be uncomfortable for a while? And most people, they hesitate. They want growth without the growing pains. They want strength without the struggle. But life doesn't work like that, my friends. Just like a seed cannot become a tree without breaking its shell, you and I cannot become who we're meant to be without breaking through our limits. Think about it. A seed sits safely inside the soil, dark, quiet, comfortable. But for it to grow, it must crack open, stretch its tiny roots into the unknown, and push through the heavy layers of earth. That's not easy. That's not painless, but that's the price of progress. The same is true for us. We often pray for growth, but when the process begins, when life cracks us open, we start complaining about the very pain that is making us stronger. When you lift weights in a gym, what are you actually doing? You're tearing your muscles. It hurts. But if you stop the moment you feel that pain, you'll never get stronger. The pain you feel in the gym isn't punishment. It's preparation. It's proof that growth is happening. And the same principle applies in life. The discomfort you feel when working hard, the loneliness you feel when chasing your dreams, the fear you feel when stepping into the unknown, all of that is part of the process that molds you into something greater. Sometimes life feels unfair. You work so hard, and still the results don't show up right away. It's tempting to think, maybe this isn't for me, maybe I should just stop. But remember this, the pain you feel now is not a sign to quit. It's a sign that you're on the edge of progress. It's your body, your mind, your soul expanding beyond its old boundaries. And when it hurts the most, that's when you're closest to your breakthrough. No mountain is climbed without sore legs. No masterpiece is painted without long, sleepless nights. No success story is born without struggle. Pain is the currency you pay to purchase progress. It's not your enemy. It's your teacher. It tells you where your limits are and invites you to go beyond them. So, when life feels heavy, when the path seems steep, remind yourself this pain is temporary, but the growth it creates will last forever. Every time you endure, every time you push a little further, every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are building a version of yourself that one day will look back and say, it was worth it. Because pain, my friends, is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your transformation. Short-term discomfort builds long-term strength. It's a truth we all understand deep down, yet we often resist it when it shows up in our lives. You see, every meaningful achievement, every lasting change, every moment of real growth is born from a period of discomfort that tests your patience, your discipline, and your belief in yourself. When you feel uncomfortable, that's not life punishing you, that's life preparing you. Think about the butterfly. When it's trapped inside a cocoon, struggling to break free, that struggle is what gives its wings strength. If someone tries to help it and tears the cocoon open too early, the butterfly never learns to fly. The resistance it faces in those few painful moments gives it the power to soar for the rest of its life. The same thing happens with us. The challenges we go through today, the failures, the heartbreaks, the disappointments, the rejections, they feel unbearable in the moment. But they are shaping something inside us that will last forever. Most people run from discomfort because they mistake it for danger. But discomfort is not danger, it's growth in disguise. When you step out of your comfort zone, your mind starts to stretch. Your habits start to shift. You begin to see how strong you really are. The problem is, many of us quit too soon. We want the reward, but not the process. We want the results, but not the resistance. Yet without that resistance, without that friction, we stay small, we stay safe, and nothing truly changes. You can't build mental strength by avoiding hard conversations. You can't build emotional resilience by running away from pain. You can't build a great life by staying where it's easy. Every time you face a challenge and decide to keep going, even when it burns, even when it's boring, even when it's slow, you're building endurance. You're rewiring your brain to stay calm under pressure. You're training your spirit to hold on when others let go. That's what true strength looks like. Remember, comfort feels good in the moment, but it steals your future. Discomfort feels terrible right now, but it builds your destiny. Those mornings when you don't want to wake up early, but still do, those nights when you want to quit, but choose to stay consistent, those moments when you want to cry, but still smile and move forward. Those are the invisible workouts of the soul. That's where your true power is being forged. So don't be afraid of discomfort. Welcome it. When it shows up, remind yourself, this is the moment I'm growing. This is where my character is being tested. This is where I'm becoming the person I was meant to be. Because one day, you look back at every tear, every sleepless night, every painful step, and realize those short-term struggles gave you the strength to stand tall when life tried to break you. Discomfort is the training ground for greatness. The longer you can stay in the fire without running, the more unbreakable you become. Pain ends, but strength stays. And every time you choose discomfort today, you're building a version of yourself tomorrow who doesn't fear life, but faces it with courage, wisdom, and calm. Regret is a silent killer. It doesn't shout, it doesn't announce its arrival. It whispers slowly, quietly, into the corners of your heart when you're alone at night. It says things like, you could have done more, you should have tried harder, you had the chance, and you let it go. And that whisper, my friends, can be far more painful than any physical wound. Because pain from effort fades, but pain from regret echoes for a lifetime. You see, when we face challenges, our first instinct is to escape the discomfort. We say, it's too hard, it's not worth it. Maybe it's just not meant for me. We quit to avoid the pain of the moment. But what we don't realize is that the pain we run from now becomes the regret we live with later. The mind remembers the chances we didn't take, the opportunities we let slip, the dreams we buried because we were too afraid of being uncomfortable. Regret is cruel because it visits when it's too late to change the story. It comes when the door has already closed, When the time has already passed, when the moment is already gone, you can't go back and relive that conversation you avoided, that risk you didn't take, that effort you refused to make. You can only sit with the heavy feeling of what if. And that's a feeling that weighs on the soul like a stone. We often think avoiding pain will keep us happy, but in truth, it only delays a deeper pain. Temporary pain builds you, regret breaks you. When you give up in the middle of your struggle, you save yourself a little discomfort now, but you lose a lifetime of peace later. Because every time you quit, a small part of your spirit starts to believe you're not capable, not strong enough, not worthy. And that belief, that quiet doubt, is the foundation of regret. Look at people in their final years. When they reflect on their lives, what do they regret most? Not the things they tried and failed at, but the things they never tried at all. They say, I wish I had loved more. I wish I had spoken up. I wish I had followed my passion. They don't talk about the temporary pains they went through. They talk about the chances they didn't take because of fear. That's the tragedy of regret. It's born not from failure, but from hesitation. Pain has an end. It comes, it stays for a while, and then it leaves. But regret grows with time. The longer you avoid it, the stronger it becomes. It's like rust on a piece of metal. It starts small, barely noticeable, but if you ignore it, it slowly eats away until what was once strong becomes fragile. The same happens to our hearts when we keep choosing comfort over courage. So, when you face a hard decision, ask yourself, will this hurt me now or haunt me later? Will this discomfort today free me from regret tomorrow? Because one truth is certain, you will either suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And discipline, no matter how difficult, always costs less. Regret steals your peace in moments of quiet. It makes you replay your past and wonder how different life could have been if only you had held on a little longer, worked a little harder, believed a little deeper. But you can break that cycle by acting now, by facing pain with courage, by refusing to quit when it gets hard. One day you'll look back and either smile with pride or sigh with regret. The difference between the two lies in what you choose to do with your pain today. So when it hurts, don't walk away, don't give up. Let the pain shape you, not stop you. Because pain ends, but regret lasts forever. Pain has an expiry date. No matter how deep it feels, how heavy it seems, or how endless it appears, it doesn't last forever. Every pain, whether it's physical, emotional, or spiritual, has a limit. It comes to test you, to stretch you, to teach you something about yourself, and then it leaves. The problem is, when we're in the middle of it, it feels like it's never going to end. We forget that even the darkest night eventually gives way to sunrise. Think about every heartbreak you've ever had. In the moment, it feels unbearable. You can't eat, you can't sleep. You feel like you'll never be happy again. But give it time, weeks, months, maybe a year. And what happens? You heal, you learn, you grow. You find new meaning, new strength, and new reasons to smile. That pain that once felt permanent becomes just a memory, a story, a scar that reminds you of how strong you've become. The same goes for every loss, every failure, every disappointment. When you lose a job, fail an exam, or get rejected by someone you care about, it hurts. You might feel like the world has ended. But the truth is, it hasn't. Pain clouds your vision. It makes you believe that life has stopped moving, but it hasn't. Life keeps going. And as it goes on, the intensity of your pain begins to fade. Slowly, quietly, it dissolves. Yet so many people give up during the storm because they mistake temporary pain for permanent suffering. They forget that the rain doesn't last forever. They stop in the middle of the tunnel without realizing there's light just a little further ahead. If only they had held on a little longer, they would have seen that the pain was not there to destroy them. It was there to prepare them. Every wound has its own healing time. You cannot rush it, but you also cannot assume it will stay forever. Healing happens in silence, in moments when you least expect it. One day you wake up and realize that what used to hurt doesn't hurt anymore. The tears have dried. The heart has learned to beat again. The mind has learned to breathe again. That's when you understand pain always had an expiry date. But regret is different. It doesn't fade with time. In fact, it grows stronger the longer you live with it. That's why it's always better to go through temporary pain than to live with permanent regret. If something hurts now, remind yourself this feeling will not last forever. One day, you'll look back and realize it was just a chapter, not the whole book. You see, life has a rhythm. Nothing stays the same. Not joy, not sorrow. The seasons change, and so do we. When winter feels endless, spring quietly begins to bloom. When night feels too long, dawn starts to rise. Pain is no different. It follows this rhythm. It comes, it serves its purpose, and then it passes. The key is not to fight the pain, but to flow with it. Don't resist the process of healing just because it's uncomfortable. Sit with your pain. Learn from it. Let it do its work. Because once it's done teaching you, it will leave, and in its place will be wisdom, strength, and clarity. Sometimes the most beautiful parts of your life come right after the most painful ones. The pain you feel today might be clearing the path for blessings you can't yet see, but you'll never reach them if you give up now. Remember, pain may last for a season, but peace lasts for a lifetime. So when it hurts, remind yourself this too shall pass. It always does. It always will. Avoidance is more painful than endurance. It's strange, isn't it? We think that by avoiding pain, we are protecting ourselves. We tell ourselves, I'll deal with it later, or I don't want to face it right now. But the truth is, every time we avoid what hurts, we're not escaping pain. We're multiplying it. Because pain that is avoided doesn't disappear, it waits. It hides in the corners of your heart, and one day, when you least expect it, it comes back stronger, sharper, and heavier. Endurance, on the other hand, is honesty with yourself. It's facing reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. It's choosing to walk through the fire instead of pretending the fire doesn't exist. And while endurance hurts, it liberates you. Avoidance feels safe for a moment, but it keeps you trapped for a lifetime. The pain you face and process will eventually pass, but the pain you run from will keep chasing you until you finally stop and face it. Imagine you have a wound. You can cover it up and ignore it, hoping it will heal on its own. But if you don't clean it, if you don't let it breathe, it gets infected. It becomes worse, more painful, more dangerous. The same happens with emotional wounds, the disappointments, the rejections, the failures we never confront. We bury them deep, smile on the outside, and pretend everything's fine. But inside, the pain festers. It grows into anxiety, bitterness, and regret. The act of avoidance only prolongs the suffering. Enduring pain is hard, yes, but it's clean pain. It's the kind of pain that leads to healing, to understanding, to peace. Avoidance is dirty pain. It lingers, it complicates, it poisons the soul. When you endure, you feel the discomfort today so you can live freely tomorrow. When you avoid, you feel relief today but carry silent suffering forever. Think about people who avoid difficult conversations. They don't want to argue, they don't want to upset anyone, so they stay silent. But that silence becomes distance. That distance becomes resentment. And one day, the relationship they were trying to protect collapses. Why? Because avoiding pain didn't protect the bond, it destroyed it slowly. The same happens in every area of life: relationships, career, health, dreams. The things we avoid today become the regrets we live with tomorrow. Avoidance makes the mountain of fear look bigger than it actually is. The moment you face it, you realize it's not as bad as you imagined. The mind exaggerates pain to keep you safe, but safety and growth don't live in the same place. Growth lives on the other side of discomfort. When you decide to endure instead of escape, you take back your power. You prove to yourself that you can survive what once terrified you. Endurance doesn't mean you enjoy the pain. It means you trust the process. You trust that there's something waiting for you beyond the struggle. You trust that the pain won't last forever, but the strength you gain from it will. Avoidance, on the other hand, is a lack of trust in life, in yourself, in your ability to rise. It's choosing the illusion of comfort over the truth of growth. Every time you avoid, you shrink a little. Every time you endure, you expand. Endurance builds resilience, a quiet kind of power that no one can see but everyone can feel. It's the strength that lets you stand tall when life tries to bend you. It's the calm that keeps you steady when everything else falls apart. And that kind of strength only comes from walking through what others run from. So, the next time you feel pain knocking on your door, don't hide. Open it. Face it. Let it teach you what it came to teach. Because the sooner you confront it, the sooner it leaves. Endurance may make you cry, but avoidance will make you hollow. One frees you, the other chains you. And when you finally understand that running from pain is far more painful than feeling it, you'll stop avoiding and you'll start growing. Remember this: life will never reward you for avoiding discomfort. It rewards those who face it, feel it, and rise above it. Endure your pain with courage now, and one day you'll look back and realize that what once felt unbearable became the very thing that built you. Every success story began in pain. It's something we often forget when we see people shining on the stage of success. We see the applause, the smiles, the recognition, and we think they're lucky. But what we don't see are the years of silent struggle behind that success, the sleepless nights, the heartbreaks, the self-doubt, the sacrifices, and the endless moments when quitting seemed easier than continuing. Every beautiful success that inspires the world was once a story of pain that almost broke someone. Pain is the birthplace of greatness. Think about any person who has achieved something extraordinary. An artist, an athlete, a scientist, a leader. Behind every accomplishment is a period of uncertainty, failure, rejection, and deep inner conflict. The pain they went through wasn't a